When life gets real, the mic stays warm. Hosted by the dad with lots of charm. Insights are sharp and data's tight. The lens already and the joke's online. Hot takes, real talk, keeping it true. From high school halls to podcast cues, live a little, learn a lot. Turn it up, this show is hot. Grab your coffee, let's get into it. No filter, no fluff, just real talk. Let's do it. Ready or not, here we go. It's the time for my man to start the show.
Welcome back. We are Hot Takes with the Murphman. How's everyone doing this morning? Connor, how you been?
Doing good this fine morning. How you doing, Murphman?
This fine morning, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, so far so good. Let's just put it that way, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's going to be a really cool show today. We're going to be talking about business etiquette. And we're going to talk about what actually needs to be discussed, because we don't talk about that enough, about what we need to be able to do at work, right? And you told me, well, I don't know what to do at work. I've never worked. And I'm like, that's the whole point of this show. Because a lot of people don't realize that this show is about helping young adults and college students become better adults. And this is part of it when you get a job, right?
Yeah.
So I think with that being said, do you have anything you want to mention about what's going on in the world right now, or anything like that?
Nope, can't think of anything.
You can't think of anything right now?
No.
All right, so I'll tell you what. Let's go ahead and I'll ignite that fuse, and we'll get the show started. This is not working for me. Go ahead and do it.
Okay.
Your degree and skills get you the job, but understanding workplace etiquette helps you keep it and thrive. We're talking about the fundamental, unwritten rules of office life that separate the professionals from the amateurs. Raises are earned, not handed out. Welcome to Hot Takes. Today, we are talking about a guide to business etiquette. Part 1, the unspoken rules of the office. Your degree and skills get you the job, but understanding workplace etiquette helps you keep it and thrive. This episode covers the fundamental, unwritten rules of office life that separate the professionals from the amateurs.
The rules that separate us from the professionals from the amateurs. Well, you know, I've talked about this. If you've been following the show for a while, you'll know that I've talked about this before. The way we talk about at work is very different than what we expect people to do in our personal life, right? Mm-hmm. Got a little cable. What we do at work is very different than how we treat people personally, you know. And last weekend after our show, I went to a party and met some new people, and I was like, okay, are we going to be okay in this atmosphere? Because these are all like college professors at UTEP, right?
Yeah.
And there's me. I too am a college professor, but I'm just a very different kind of person. That's just bottom line, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, how is this going to go? I had to be on my best behavior, right? And all of a sudden, one of the guys makes a joke, fairly inappropriate joke, in Spanish, mind you.
In Spanish.
In Spanish. And I laughed so hard. He looked at me like he got the joke, because I was the only one that got the joke. So it was like instant friendship, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
And as the night went on, I became friends with everybody, to the point where at the end of the night, they're like, hey, let's get together next week, or which was Wednesday, let's get together Wednesday and let's talk.
Yeah.
And I said, all right, let's do it. And we did. So I made myself some new friends. Now, how does this have to do with business? Well, the reality is, how do you act at work? How do you talk at work? How do you treat people at work? Can you treat those people the same way you would have them treated here in your own life, personally? Or do you have to treat them a little differently than you would your friends?
Treat them a little differently than friends.
A lot differently than friends most of the time, right?
Mm.
Because it's one of those things where you ask yourself, I can't be myself a lot of times because I'm afraid of offending somebody. Because that happens, doesn't it?
Yeah, a lot.
I would hope it wouldn't be a lot.
People getting offended? Yeah.
Well, if you're offending people, something's wrong with you.
But not on purpose. But they just take it to heart.
Even then, if okay, my friend has a way of explaining this that made me laugh. Okay, when he talks about his marriage, he goes, "I was married to my first wife, got divorced. It was all her fault, right? I was married to my second wife, got divorced. Maybe some of the reasons were my fault. My third divorce," he says, "yeah, it was mostly my fault." The thing is, if you're the common denominator in every problem, because you have different friends who are getting offended, and you're the problem. If you get offended with one person, or one person gets offended by you, and no one else, that's probably that one person.
Yeah.
Right? Same thing at work. So it could be the one person, could be the whole group, could be you. So you really got to be aware of what you're saying and doing when you're in situations like that.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Because it's you're the common denominator in everything.
Yes.
Like I had a kid I was counseling, and she was a really, really bad kid. She was having a lot of issues. And I walked in there into the counseling session, and I said, "What happened? Like, why are you so angry?" And we're not supposed to ask why as counselors, but I always did. Because why there's only two answers to why. Do you remember the two answers?
No.
Because and why not.
Oh.
All right. So I asked this kid, what happened that started making you so angry? And she tells me that a couple of weeks before Quince, her mom used all the money they had to pay off the dance hall, to pay off the food, the DJ, and all the last minute expenses to bail her uncle out of jail, and they canceled her Quince. Damn, right? Yeah. I try not to talk bad about parents, but I was like,
wow,
yeah. And once the kid realized like why she was acting so angrily and everything, I said, I don't know what your uncle did. I don't know, like, had he stayed in jail, they have lost the house, his family would be kicked out of the house, moved into this, maybe your mom, there was other reason that your mom did that, because she knew he needed the help, or the family needed the help instead of him, you know what I mean? And the way I worded it, she's like, maybe you're right. Let me go talk to my mom. She talked to her mom, and they resolved things, and she was pretty cool. A couple months passed, and this kid gets in trouble cursing at a teacher. And it was so funny because I went into the principal's office, and I'm sitting there talking to the principal and her. And the principal says, you cursed at a teacher. I'm going to have to put you into alternative. And the kid said, well, he cursed at me first. And the principal says, what do you mean? And I told the girl, I said, tell him the truth, She says, we always joke like that. What's up? Right? Only this time, another teacher was present. And because of that, he had to say something. And I'm here now. And the principal looked at me. He goes, how am I supposed to handle this? This is between you and your teacher, bro. Right? But I turned to the kid. I said, that's why you don't act like that with certain people. Because you never know who's around you. He may not be the one getting offended, but someone might hear you say something. And that becomes a problem.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I can see that.
So this kid, she got great. She did great after I talked to her. I can say that was one of my successes. But I told the principal she was still wrong in cursing at the teacher. And you cannot ignore this because the other teacher's going to be like, how come you didn't do anything to this student? So he gave her 2 days in-school suspension. That was it, you know. Well, actually, he gave her 1 day. And I said, if she was another student, how would you have treated this? He goes, I would have put her in for 2 days. I said, then put her in for 2 days. So I don't want you to get into trouble, right? And I told the kid, just chill for 2 days. You're cool with that? She goes, yeah, I'm cool with that. But the principal went and talked to his teacher, and he went up to the teacher and he tells him something to the effect of, hey, can I talk to you about X student? Yeah, what's up? You know, you referred her because she cursed at you. Yeah. Was that the first time she ever cursed at you? He goes, yeah. He goes, oh, so you've never cursed with her? And at that point, the teacher knew, like, oh, he knows, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the teacher says, no, I've never talked to her like that before. Straight up lied.
Damn.
And the principal says, okay, we'll talk about this later. And then since I was always at the school, he pulled me aside and goes, hey, I talked to the teacher and he told me he never cursed with a student. And I looked at him just like, well, what are you going to do? And he goes, believe your student. Because the kid didn't try to get him in trouble. She just straight up said, like, I don't want to tell him, you know, how I get along with his teacher because I'm going to get in more trouble. And I was like, you're not the one in trouble. He is.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, so the teacher actually got written up for that.
Oh, wow.
And I don't know if he's still teaching or not, but it wasn't that big of a deal, in my opinion. Should teachers be cursing with students? No. But if no one else is around, is it okay? And that's where that personal relationship gets you into trouble professionally, when you say something around, you treat that person like you always have, but someone else sees it. You know, and the best example I can give you in my own personal life was I had a job one time, and one of my coworkers was a lesbian. So, and I've known her for years, and I knew her before she actually started working where I worked. And one day, I don't know why, but she says, "Can I pinch your butt?" And I said, "Oh, okay, yeah, I don't care, right?" So she was squeezing my butt. At that moment, my boss walked in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my boss just looked at me and she says, "You guys got to be careful who's around." My boss was realistic enough to know, okay, these two have known each other for years. This is how they get along. Don't do this at work, whatever, you know. She was just being funny. And actually what she was doing, turns out I had gum on my butt and she was taking it off. She just didn't want to tell me.
Mm-hmm.
She was just trying to be funny. And then after she pulled the gum off, she's like, "You have some gum on your butt." I'm like, "Oh, thank you." But it looked like she was grabbing my butt. So my boss was like, "Just don't do that at work." You know, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's cool. You know, and that brings up another thing about, and we'll talk about this later, is relationships at work, like dating relationships. Just before we get started, what do you think? Shouldn't we date people?
It's a human thing. It's gonna happen.
That's not what I asked. I said, should it happen?
I don't know.
I don't think it should, personally. You never date someone where you work at.
I mean, if it works, then it works.
But when it doesn't, that's the problem. I'll give you a perfect example. The club that I met your mom at, that's where she would go every week, right, to that club, right?
Mm-hmm.
I started going to the club, met her, ended up married, and, you know, sorry, we got serious, right? Bless you.
Thank you.
And she says, "What happens if we break up?" This is when we were dating. And I said, "It's very simple. You were here before me. As much as I love this club, it's your club. I won't come back here." Now, that's just a real relationship, right? But when you're both are involved in something, that affects the club. And it really shouldn't, but it does. Have you ever seen anything like that where your friends go to the club and they're just being stupid because someone else they dated was there with someone else or something? or
Mhm.
anywhere. I mean, school, whatever.
No.
No, okay. Well, you'll eventually see that. You're young, but it's one of those things that you just never know.
Yeah.
But I don't recommend dating anybody at work. But I do want to say this before we get on with the show. I do want to mention the fact that this is our podcast. I am the Murph Man. This is my co-host Connor. We are not professionals. We just play one on this podcast. We do not hold back on our thoughts. We say whatever comes to our mind, and if you don't like it, I'm sorry. But most of the time, we're appropriate, and sometimes we're not, and a little bit of the language or topics might slip up and come out.
Yeah.
So just giving you a heads up on that. It's not like we're always doing it, but something might just slip and we might miss it during editing or obviously on the live show. We can't
really
I
control.
can't fly around the world 7 times to go backwards and
Yeah.
right. But it's one of those things that we're just gonna speak our mind. That's just the way it is, right?
Yep.
So I'll tell you what, I want to get to the burning question today. So let's talk about that in our segment called The Burning Question.
Today's burning question is, what is a workplace norm? A, a company's official rules and policies. B, the unwritten accepted standards of behavior. C, the mission and values of a company. D, the way a company hires new employees. The options are sizzling. Murphman, what is the real story?
All right. So a company's official rules and policies. I should say, what's the workplace norm? Quote unquote. Notice that's in quotes.
Why isn't it? Well,
What is
one quote? I
normal?
guess. Normal? Well, out of all the answers, I would have to say.
Hold on. I'm talking about when it says workplace norm, and that's in quotations. What is normal? And what I mean by that is, based on where you work, the norm is very different.
How?
If I worked in a company that was very professional and business oriented, I would have to be very careful how I speak, how I dress, how I talk, right?
Yeah.
If I'm working in a strip club, would it be a different workplace norm?
I mean, yeah.
Right?
But every business has their own norm, so but you can't really be like, what's the workplace norm if every place has it differently.
That's my point. That's why it's in the quotations, because the normal is different for everybody. And one of my favorite phrases is when I would talk to somebody as a counselor and they would ask me, is this normal? I'm like, I don't know. Is it normal for you? And I'll give you an example of that. I had a kid who was 15 years old and she was assaulted. Very unfortunate situation. And she was a big drug addict and alcoholic. So someone took advantage of her. Okay. I'm doing counseling with this 15-year-old kid. And, you come up with goals. What are some goals for this kid? Get back to normal. Right?
Yeah.
After something like that happens, after a trauma, it's very hard to find your normal again. So in my first session, I said, so the goal is to try to get back to your normal. I said, for example, become sexually active again. Because that was her norm, right? And the mom's like, whoa. You're saying it's okay to have sex? And I said, I didn't say that. I told the kid, your normal was you used to have sex before this. And you haven't been able to do it since. So that's one thing we need to change to get back to normal. And the mom's like, this is weird. And I just told him, I said, think about that. I said, let's talk about if it happened to you. What would the goal be? And she said, well, I said,
exactly, yeah.
And of course I told the kid, I said, does not mean I agree with your drug use. Right. So then after I got the kid back to feeling semi-normal, it's funny because I told her, I said, do me a favor. can you go out one night and not do drugs or get drunk? Just one night. That's all I'm asking. Can you do that for me? Yeah, I can do that. It's okay. The next session, I said, so were you able to do it? She goes, yeah, I went out with my friends and I didn't get drunk or anything. I said, and she says, I cannot believe my friends are like that.
Damn.
She says, I realized drunk and sober, or clean and sober, that those weren't the kind of friends I want to have. And I said, okay. Within a couple of weeks, she stopped using drugs. Right. And I never told her you have to stop using drugs. I mean, I told her I didn't agree with you using drugs.
Yeah.
But I also said, that's who you are. I get that. I don't like it. And it's causing you a lot of problems. But do me a favor one time. And she did. And she made the decision on her own to stop using. So
that's cool.
When you're asked what is normal, it's relevant to who you are and where you are. Okay. Yeah. Yesterday, you asked me a question. What I said, okay, but you asked me what's one story or memory you have here in El Paso? Mm-hmm. And I told you a really crazy story, right?
Yeah.
That's not a normal experience for people.
Obviously.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not too crazy for me.
Because there's stuff that are like,
oh yeah, there's stuff crazier than me.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, telling me that story, you did not say like, oh, I don't believe you. You were like, oh wow, okay, yeah, I believe you.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, let's see, if your mom had told you the same story because she was there, would you have believed her? No, because she was not that kind of person. Right.
True.
So norm is relative to where you are and who you're with. Okay. And when I told you the secret yesterday, you were just like, yeah, I believe it.
Yeah.
So let's get back to our question, the burning question. All right. So what is a workplace norm? Is it a company's official rules and policies, or the unwritten accepted standards of behavior, the mission and values of a company, or the way a company hires new employees? What do you think that would be, Connor?
I would think it would have to be excuse me. I think it has to be B. I forget how worded, but it's the unwritten rules.
The unwritten rules.
Yeah, workplace.
Right. That's why the workplace norms, right? Everyone's different. All right. Well, I think it's so funny as you think you're off camera and you're still on camera when you do that. Just throwing that out there. Almost, yeah, pretty much. Anyway. So yeah, the unwritten rules. And I've talked about this before, and I'll say it again. When you get to work in a new place, you have to be your best behavior, best person, best everything. And someone's going to test you. They're going to say something inappropriate. They're going to do something inappropriate to see how you respond, to see if you're cool. And one of the things I'll tell you, as a counselor, I was there for 16 years. My boss only put me with one or two people as a model. Not that I'm a bad counselor. I'm an amazing counselor, but my style is very different than other people. Mm-hmm. And it's maybe not the best example for new employees, right?
Yeah.
But there's people who had a lot of experience that were like, yeah, I've ever done this before. And then go work with Sean, see how he does it. And even one time I presented at the conference, the STARS conference here in El Paso, and people were like, your class of stress management. How many of us have no stress management, right? They were like, why would we come and see your show, right? Your seminar. But I said, out of all the other classes that were available at that moment, that was the best choice for me. I had either done the other ones or wasn't interested in them. She says, I came in here and you presented stress management in a very different way than I've ever heard it mentioned. And she says, I want you to know, I think that was pretty cool because you have a different outlook on life. And she says, I can see you doing this in real life. It's not, you weren't giving like meditate and journalize and breathe and meditate. You know, you were like, what makes you relax? You play heavy metal music? Play heavy metal music.
Yeah.
You know, what works for you? What do you find that gets your brain distracted? Playing Sudoku. Okay, then play. So, you know, have a very different outlook on how we do things. And that difference is what makes me who I am. And I just see things very differently. Even my comedy, like very inappropriate comedy. And when people see me, they're just like, hey, what is it that that you talk about? And I said, well, very inappropriate stuff. So I don't curse, but I'm very inappropriate. Afterwards, the comedian that was on stage with me, I got to know him one day, and I gave him a ride home, and he says, you know, what's so funny is you don't curse and you don't say anything racial. And I said, but I do say racial stuff. He goes, no, you just say the way it is. Yeah. And I'm like, but it's racial. He goes, yeah, but, and it's because of the way I look. That you're like, he's just an old man, or he whatever, you know, he's not being offensive on purpose. He's, you know, he goes, no, you just, the way you say things, right? And a good example of that is the guy we're going to go see on Friday, Mark Britton. He's known as the Chinaman. That's how I said that, the Chinaman.
Oh, because that's his name,
right?
So.
But is that appropriate to say, call someone a Chinaman?
That's his name, so yes.
Well, see, that's the thing. In today's culture, he hasn't done comedy in several years, and it's his comeback, his first show. Actually, I talked to him at Comic-Con, and we were talking about this. It goes, a lot of people go, hey, Chinaman. Like, they can't say Chinaman because that's offensive. And he goes, you're the first person that said that to me in a very long time. And I'm like, because that's who you are, right?
Yeah.
He goes, yeah, but other people don't see it that way. And cancel culture. Hold on. My lips are dry.
Mine too, bro. Mine too.
Cancer cultural.
Cancer. I heard it. I was like, cancel.
All right. Is this something I want to say from my friend from the Dominican Republic with a very, very, very thick Hispanic mixed Spanish accent? Okay, Connor, we got to fuck us. Okay, got to fuck us on our show. Okay. Cancel culture is real, and he says I have to be very careful what I say or do.
I think it's bullcrap sometimes. Cancel culture is doing too much.
Okay, but like I've shown you some movies, very inappropriate movies that could not be made today.
And they're hilarious.
They are, but they could not be made today.
Too bad.
Okay. What's a movie that you can think of?
Ooh.
Mine is Waiting with Ryan Reynolds.
Ooh. Yeah. I would say
that's very sexually inappropriate at work.
Yeah.
Blazing Saddles, very racist.
Very, yeah. What's the one? God, I can't think of the name. I can't think of the name. I don't even know.
Okay. Well, one comedian that I don't think has been canceled, correct me if I'm wrong, is Dave Chappelle.
Oh, I don't know anything about Dave Chappelle.
No, but I'm saying, but you haven't heard of him canceled or anything,
I don't know anything about him.
He has a skit of a town that's very, very white, very, very country, very, very hick, very, very racist. There's a guy who lives there who's black and he's blind. And he's a racist black guy. But he thinks, he's a black white supremacist.
Oh God. Okay.
And his friends are like, aren't you gonna tell him that he's black? And the guy's like, no, because he's really, really racist. Like he's liable to just kill himself because he's black.
Oh God.
No, I just told you this. I don't know how long ago that skit was, but could you do something like that today?
No.
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 No. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
He's so racist he'd kill himself because that's just like stupid. But cancel culture,
Cancel.
fuck us. Cancel culture is real. Okay. I have never heard of Chappelle being canceled. I've heard him have other issues, but you can't talk about racism like that today. You can't, or you'll be in trouble. Right?
Yeah. Which sucks, but I mean,
next week when we have our show, we're gonna have a part 2 to this.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about the show with Chinaman on Friday. And I would love, I'm gonna ask him if he'd come on our show.
Mm-hmm.
I would see, but I don't know if he'd get up that early, right?
I don't think so.
But
what time's the show at?
It's at 8.
8 till like midnight? 10?
10. But I mean, like, he might stay partying until 3, 4, 5 in the morning. I don't know his lifestyle. So maybe if we can get him to come on a show, that would be really cool. I would love to. Seriously, I would just love to have him on my show. That'd be so badass. Because one of the things that I talk about, right, is we're very real about what we talk about. We're not cursing up a storm or anything. But if that's the episode that I want to do next week, I'll start off with, hey, just letting you know, this show is going to be very inappropriate. Just straight up. And he can be himself, I can be myself, and we don't have to worry about anything. Because I'm not going to be upset with what he says.
True.
And if my listeners don't like it, tough.
Well, I mean, I guess, kind of. Even though the whole show is about, like, it's supposed to be for students and adults.
Yeah, but we can also break away from our show programming.
I mean, I guess, yeah. It's just gonna be weird. It's like educational, Chinaman, educational. Just like the thumbnails will be so different.
No, well, we'll still talk about that because he's not going to be on the show for now. It'd be awesome if he was on the show for 2 hours, right?
Yeah.
But probably 10, 15 minutes, So we can take a break and talk about, like we do with Javi or JJ, all the other guys we talked to.
Yeah.
Jose Luis, we can have that, or Trina, right? By the way, you don't follow her on Instagram, right? For those of you who don't know, one of our very first shows, probably our third show.
No, not third.
You don't think it was third?
Like later on.
No, I think it was pretty close.
It had to be like 10.
It was pretty close.
It had to be double digits.
You think double digits? Anyway, we had a listener from the Philippines start texting us and chatting with us. And eventually she came on the show, and she's an amazing person. I've been following her. And like I told you, hey, Trina's going to come on the show. You're like, yeah, whatever. You didn't believe me.
Yeah. Kind of forgot who she was. Okay.
Yeah, you forgot who she was.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when I told you I've been talking to her, you're like, no, you haven't. I'm like, yeah, I have.
Well, what about it?
The point being is we veered away from our regular content for that. You know what I mean? We talked about earthquake. It's in Philippines.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, we never know what we're going to talk about. So veering away and doing an interview with Chinaman would be really cool. That would be my ultimate, like, amazing night. Seriously,
I would like that to happen, maybe.
Right? Yeah, if I could, I would do that. And then I would send him the clip and be like, hey, are you okay with me publishing this, and see what he says. So if I can do it, that'd be really cool. I'll have my business cards by then. So yeah,
That's true. Yeah.
so yeah, there's a lot of things we can do. Anyway, I digress. Um, cancel culture. I thought I was gonna get it that time. Cancel culture is real, and the norm from 15, 20 years ago, 60 years ago, 100 years ago, 200 years ago, very different than today.
Very different.
Okay, and it's a pendulum. It swings, goes from one side to the other, and sometimes we're in the middle of the swing as we, our generations. One generation goes one way, one generation is swinging the other way, and it goes really quickly. Other times it takes like several years for the pendulum to swing. Styles, clothes, everything. The 80s. You talk about the 80s and 90 kids, very different attitude than the kids of today.
Yes.
They talk about at 14 years old, I was out there stealing cars and getting drunk and partying in Mexico. No, I didn't steal a car, just once.
So you did.
I didn't steal it. They gave me a stolen car.
Okay.
No, I'll tell you that story. But, I look at it at 14 and I'm like, there's no way in hell this guy's like doing anything like this.
Yeah, no, I was doing nothing.
Right.
Straight out of COVID, I was a little chubbiness from eating too much. I had no friends. What was I gonna do? Party? Hell no.
Well, okay, you had COVID, but I'm saying at 14 years old, your mentality.
I was playing Fortnite. Yeah.
What?
I was playing Fortnite.
Oh, Fortnite. I had 24. Your mentality at 14 was very different than my mentality at 14.
Well, yeah, because I wasn't exposed to it.
Right. But it's also the time of, the 80s and 90s were very different than today's kids.
Well, yeah. And we were also in a pandemic, so that's a major difference.
But I don't think the pandemic changes anything.
I was in my house for 2 years making no friends.
Right. But I didn't start getting that crazy at 14 is my point,
Well, I mean,
and the stolen car, just so you know, we met some girls, they gave us a ride and they drove the car home and they lived in a shelter. Actually, there was no shelter where I worked many, many years later. They stopped there and like, okay, we're home. And we're like, oh, how are we going to get home? They're like, just take the car. Okay, well, do I get a number? They're like, oh, it's not our car. We stole it from some guy. And my friend and I were like, okay, we're out of here. We just left the car over there and we walked away. So I wonder if my prints are somewhere for stolen cars.
Oh, God.
I didn't know it was stolen.
Go to the police station right now and go ask.
I didn't know it was stolen. And as soon as I did, I left. Did I report it? No. But I was also 14 and 15 years old. Okay. Anyway, cancel culture. Oh, man, I'm just gonna stop saying that word. I'll tell you what, let's get to today's hot take before we go too much further and get off subject, okay?
All right.
Value is the only relevant metric. Today's hot take is this: true workplace professionalism has nothing to do with dress codes or formal titles. It's about situational awareness and deep respect for others' boundaries. The person who cleans up their communal microwave mess is showing more integrity than the one wearing a $5,000 suit.
Oh.
Hold on. Yeah, I missed it.
Oh. So we don't have the hot take?
We do not have the hot take. Oh, well.
Dang. I'm like, yeah, we don't have it. Wow. I could add it as we talk.
Well, hold on. I'm not worried about it. All right. The person that cleans up their microwave communal mess has more integrity than the person with the $5,000 suit. What does that mean?
I don't know.
Have you ever cooked in the microwave?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever cleaned it up when it splatters?
Ugh.
No, you haven't. I can say you haven't.
No, it depends. If it's like, what do you mean, like splatters?
Like if you have spaghetti you're cooking and you don't cover it, it splatters all the spaghetti all over the microwave.
If it's like a good chunk and all that,
That's
yeah.
my point. Any splatter should be cleaned up.
Oh, well, no.
Okay, we should use a lid. There's different things you can do to avoid it.
Nah.
But after you use the work microwave, you should clean it up. Okay. Character is what you do when no one is watching. Right?
Yeah.
If I'm walking in the middle of the desert and I'm eating a lollipop, can I just throw the wrapper into the wind?
Yeah.
No one's going to know, right? But I know.
Okay, and you'll forget about it later on.
The point being is I wouldn't do it. I would put it in my pocket. Because that's not who I am. I'm not a litterer.
Yeah.
Okay. Doesn't matter who's around. I'm not going to litter. I'm not that kind of guy that throws trash on the floor. Well, I do here. I have a trash can over here, but I just throw it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't litter like that. Okay. If I'm walking on the street and I find $100 bill, do I try to ask who it belongs to?
No.
No.
I'd be like, ooh, 100. Take it.
You know what you're supposed to do legally?
Will I report it?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
To the police department. And you say, I found a $100 bill.
Should have not been their fault.
Hold on.
Believing it.
After, I don't know what the days are. I think 30 or 90 days. You can go back to the police department. Did anyone claim the $100 bill? No. Give it back to me. Now it's legally yours because you did everything you could to return it to the owner. This happened in El Paso, and I think it's happened twice. An armored truck is driving down the highway.
Oh, okay.
And the doors open up and money flies out the back. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. Or maybe just thousands of dollars.
Dang.
People stopped and picked up the money and drove away. Is that
Yeah.
it? Is.
Armed robbery, yeah.
No, I wouldn't say armed. Just because you're picking it up with your hands doesn't make it armed robbery.
Well, I mean, the money's in
Arms. You get it?
anyways.
The money is out on the floor, so you're picking it up.
Yeah, but it came from an armored truck, so it's technically like you opened the truck and took the money out.
If there's an armored truck pulled over and they're picking up money and the money belongs to them and you take it, that's theft.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll tell you right now, that's happened in El Paso once, maybe twice. I know it's happened at least once, maybe more, but I know once for sure. Okay. That's theft. Okay. Let's reverse roles a little bit. A Bud Light tractor trailer is driving on the road, falls, crashes, and there's Bud Light all over the floor, all over the freeway. Can you go pick up those beers?
If they're not cracked or dented.
It's still theft.
Nah. That's I mean, I would never, but
But it's still theft if you know where it comes from.
Oh,
Obviously, if there's 2,000 cans of beer on the freeway, that's not an accident.
yeah. I'm
something
like,
happened
damn,
and-
what alcoholic did all this?
Right. So yeah, you have all that kind of stuff to worry about. Okay. And just because you do something because no one's going to see who it was doesn't mean it makes it right. Now, am I going to sit there and pick up the money and then go hand it over to the guards? No.
Oh.
Okay. I might not stop. I might just keep driving and be like, if someone else wants to steal it, it's on them. I'm not going to be part of it,
Yeah.
Could I help them pick it up? Yeah. Have I taken money that I found on the floor and not turned it in? Yes. I'm not going to sit here and say I never have. When I was a kid, and I say a kid, I was 14 years old because I was working at the arcade. A kid in front of me dropped a bill. I don't know if it was a 1, 5, 10. I don't know what the bill was. But I'm walking behind him. He dropped it. I picked it up. As I walked past him, he turned around to see where the money fell. There was no money. I took it. And your phrase at the start of the conversation was, if you're stupid enough to lose the money.
Yeah, too bad.
It is still theft? Yes.
Yeah, but that's only if you get caught.
So a character is what you do when no one is watching.
I mean, yeah.
Okay. That's who you are at your core. If I did something that was horrible and I never felt guilty about it at my core, then that means I'm a horrible person. If you have no remorse, there's a problem there. Okay. No matter how much justification you can give yourself for saying it, you still doesn't make it okay. And as we're doing this, okay, realize that your character is what you do because that's who you are. And whether you do it or not, it tells me who you are as a person. If I were to tell you, would you litter in the desert if nobody was watching?
I mean, no, because I mean, I'm just used to like put it in my pocket. Maybe like the stick, I guess. That's it. But not, I don't know, not everything.
I still wouldn't litter. You don't see me throwing stuff out the window, do you?
Well, that's different because it's in the city, not in the middle of a desert.
But no one's gonna know where it came from.
Okay, then no one's gonna know.
But someone could see you, and you're like, "Is that why you would not do it?"
No, I don't know. I would do it. I'm like, I finish it, I throw it away.
You would just throw it out the window.
Yeah.
You're a horrible person, Connor. On that note, I think we need to take a break. We'll be right back after these messages.
It's time for a break. Hot Takes with the Murph Man will return after these messages.
According to the VA's suicide data report, an average of 22 veterans die by suicide every single day. This figure is a sobering reality and a crisis that demands our immediate attention and compassion. We must recognize and address the fact that every 24 hours, 22 veterans are losing their lives to suicide. The war doesn't always end when our veterans come home. The invisible wounds they carry, wounds that are real and heavy, require continuous support. No veteran should have to carry this burden alone. Many veterans experience stress and disconnection as they navigate life after service. But there is hope, there is help, and you are not alone in this fight. There's a vibrant community ready to support you, offering friendship, understanding, and shared experiences. You served your country, now let us serve you. Don't fight the toughest battle in silence. Your mission now is to reach out. Dial 988, then press 1. Text them at 838255. The Veterans Crisis Line is available 24/7. Every day, we save lives. Your life is invaluable, and your service is honored. Let's work together to make 22-0 again. No veteran should face their struggles alone. Together, we can ensure every veteran finds the support and hope they deserve.
He gets help, but he still feels off. Sees an ad on the TV about a dog batting said, "This is a man's best friend." Whoa, so he goes one day and he picks it up. Never thought a dog could bring so much love and put a smile on his face. But he's finally found a saving grace. He needs help, but he don't know the path to take or the way to go to be free. Put his mind at ease. We will help, 'cause we can't stand to see a soldier go to God by their own hands. We will do everything we can to make 22-0 again. Ooh.
the station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome, Quack.
Program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
The web at mbradio.u.
I was waiting. I'm like,
That's a long pause. I know.
Yeah. I was like waiting. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I got to edit that.
I was like, did freeze?
I keep saying I'm going to edit and I don't. But hold on, let me.
We all do. We all say we want to do something, but yet we don't.
Yeah. Let me. I have a quick rant I want to say here real quick. I had a package delivered. I paid extra for it to be delivered on Friday by UPS. I'm going to call them out.
Okay.
UPS has a thing where you can change delivery. For example, when I got my laptop, that was $3,000. I don't want that dropped off in my carport. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. So I had it picked up at an alternate location, which was CVS. So it gets dropped off at CVS. I pick it up. Everyone's happy, right?
Yeah.
Apparently, I clicked the button when I was registering that says, have all packages go to CVS.
Oh.
All right. Now, I've had medications delivered here. That's by UPS.
Here.
Yeah.
Or to CVS.
No, to UPS.
You said from UPS.
Yes,
you
from
said,
UPS.
I'm saying where though? To CVS?
To here.
Okay.
To here.
Okay.
Where we are. Our studio's at our home. We're not at CVS.
You never said studio.
I know, but we're in our studio right now, which is here, which is our home here.
But we're talking about, okay, just continue.
And those medications come from UPS to here.
Uh-huh.
For some reason, this delivery that I made for yesterday got sent to CVS because all delivery, it wasn't all delivery. That's been my problem because I've had other stuff shipped by UPS. So it wasn't here yesterday. And they said, well, it was delayed. I said, okay, well, I paid for next day air. Well, tomorrow when you get it, you can call us and you can complain and we'll refund that. We'll see what we can do. But we can't do anything until the package is delivered.
Yeah.
Fine. Later at night, I got a message that said package has been delayed until tomorrow. And I'm like, I'm not getting it today. I was pissed. So I went to the system. I changed the option of send all packages to CVS. Boom. Took it off, right? It changed my package delivery for that one package. So now I got delayed to come back to the house. I didn't even change it. It's just the system that did it.
Well, you just said you canceled it, though.
I
canceled it, so it's going to go here.
In my profile, but I didn't affect that one tracking that's already been chosen to go to UPS.
Well, but then you press cancel, it's going to get rid of the change.
All right. Here's an example.
It's not examples. What happened?
When we went to Walmart, because we ate at McDonald's at Walmart. When we went to McDonald's the other day, you ordered right on the kiosk, and it said, this is a favorited order. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. You have a favorited order.
Well, yeah, because I made it a favorite.
If I put in the system, that's the only order to make every time, right? It's going to make the order. But what if I have an order made and then I go and I change the option, take it off as a favorite? Should it change the order that I already made?
Yes.
Why?
Because it's not a favorite anymore, so it's not going to make the order for you.
But I already ordered it.
No, you didn't.
It's already being made in the back.
How?
Why? Because I made the order.
You never said you ordered. You said if you get rid of it as a favorite.
Yeah, if I have it as a favorite and I order it,
and
then I go in there and change it as a favorite, should it change the order?
Well, if it's a McDonald's, I mean, you haven't really made it since you haven't selected it.
Well, that's okay. Again, it's a favorite order. I make the order, meaning I've submitted the order. Then I take it off as a favorite. Should it change the order I submitted?
Oh, no.
That's what happened with UPS. I took off a preference, not the actual order change.
I don't know. I got to see on the UPS to see why.
Anyway,
why you thought
I'm
that.
so pissed. At the end of I was yelling, I was mad at this girl. I'm trying to get online. My internet wasn't working. And she said, sir, we have other customers in the queue. I said, I don't care. I am your customer right now, and I'm going to get this fixed. And she pissed me off. She just
first saying that no.
Both UPS people I talked to yesterday pissed me off. One couldn't get my name right. Anyway, UPS, if you're out there, all right, kiss my ass. Anyway, back to our show.
Don't say that.
What?
UPS is gonna be like, oh, okay. You want to act like that? Okay. No packages whatsoever.
That's fine. It was my business.
Okay, whatever, like millions, dude. Yeah.
But everybody rose up against.
No one's gonna rise up against, dude. Everybody needs the packages. It's just gonna be you.
Yeah, with no packages, right?
Yeah.
All right. I'll tell you what, let's get back to the show and let's talk about those definitions we're going to be talking about in laying down the coals.
Define your value. Define the ask. Before we dig in, let's clarify some of the key terms we'll be using today while laying down the coals. Workplace norms. The accepted, unwritten standards of behavior and social expectations within a given company culture. Professionalism. Demonstrating competence, situational awareness, respect, and integrity in your appearance, communication, and conduct. Shared space etiquette. The rules of courtesy, cleanliness, and boundaries for common areas like kitchens, hallways, and open-plan offices. Situational mirroring. The practice of observing and adapting to the communication style, punctuality, and habits of top-performing peers. Now that the coals are laid, Murph-man, let's discuss the foundation.
All right, workplace norms we've talked about already, right? The unwritten standards of behavior and social expectations. Professionalism, demonstrating competence, situational awareness, respect, and integrity in your appearance, communication, and conduct. Would you say common sense there?
Yeah.
Yeah, right? You're a professional, act right, talk right, dress right.
Yeah.
Now, share space etiquette. This is where we talked about the microwave, right? The roles of courtesy, cleanliness, and boundaries for common areas like the kitchen, hallways, and open plan offices. Now, where I used to work, my job was stuck at the front desk, and people would be walking by me all the time, right? Could I leave anything personal on my desk?
No.
No, because it could get stolen, right? It's sad that you have to think like that. It'd be nice for people to say, hey, I could leave something on my desk and no one's going to touch it.
Yeah.
Right? But in today's society, I don't trust people. It is what it is, right? But the last one, situational awareness, the practice of observing and adapting to one's communication styles, professional punctuality. I can't talk again.
Try to say it again.
All right.
Cancel culture.
The practice, cancel culture.
There you go.
The practice of observing and adapting to the communication style, punctuality, and the habits of top performing peers. Notice it says top performing. Why would it say top performing?
Because they're the ones that are at the top.
Because that's the ones you want to
best.
copy.
Yeah.
You don't want to copy the losers. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about that real quick. All right. Mirroring the behavior. You go around and you see people, how they act, how they talk, everything, and you take on those behaviors.
I mean, yeah.
All right.
Not always, but yeah.
But you want to do that with the top people. Okay. There was a guy I used to work with that I knew he was lying on his numbers. I caught him red-handed one time, and my boss didn't fire him. And another time after that, she says, hey, how come you can't do what X guy is doing? And I said, don't even. I know he's lying. I gave you proof he was lying. You chose not to do nothing about it. you can never use him as a reference to me. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Could have been that one mistake one time. Doesn't matter. I believed he was doing it all the time, especially since I got him caught. Okay. You want to mirror those good employees. Now, at the same time, can you have a good employee that has habits you don't want to follow?
Yeah.
One thing I'm going to say about my old CEO, he always parked the furthest away in the parking lot.
Okay.
Because the parking was for the employees. He didn't do it for health reasons. He didn't do it for any other reason.
Isn't he an employee though?
Yeah, but that's my point. He did by example. And that's one thing I'm going to give him credit for, was he would park something so minimal like that doesn't really make a difference to anybody. But he would park furthest away so that people could have a closer parking spot.
Wow.
Right?
I mean, yeah.
Okay. Again, we go back to character and who you are. Right? That's a lot about him. But yeah, so the other thing is you haven't talked about TikTok in forever with you. Okay. But there's a TikTok of this girl who says she got fired on the second day of work. Have you seen that video?
What did she do?
She was late both days. The first day she was late for some reason, and the second day she was late was because she was having period cramps and she couldn't get out of bed. And they fired her.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. 2 days of work and you're not showing up, not
Right.
doing your part.
Yeah. You already shown you're not dedicated to this job.
Yeah.
Right. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Get rid of the poison as fast as you can. Right? Because when someone's not doing what you need them to do, you need to learn how to fire fast. You need to hire fast, meaning you need to fire. You need to hire someone as soon as you can. But if they don't work out, you need to fire faster and get another person in there. Now, here's a strange question for you, Connor. And I don't know the actual number. We can look it up. But what is the number of employees you should interview before you find the best employee? There's a number.
Before you find the best employee?
Yeah.
Well, there's no best employee.
Hold
but
on.
I mean,
look it up. The number of interviews.
I hate this computer or keyboard.
To find the best employee. A best candidate. I think it's 28.
4.
Interview rounds. Oh, that's not what I was asking. What number does it say for you?
The same thing. Let me see. Oh, that's not what I mean.
All right, hold on.
Most recruiters aim to interview 4 to 6 candidates per open role after a strong initial resume screen for like the 4 rounds of interviews. Because it's 4 rounds. It's screening, which would be like just a little chat, like phone call or video call. Skills in depth, which is just talking about past work, technical skills. Round 3 is how you work with your team and how professional you can get. And then 4 is if you take leadership or not. And it says every 4 to 6 for one role.
That's not the one I'm looking for. Anyway, the number of candidates I think is 28. if you can't find the right employee within 28 candidates, you're
something is wrong.
you've already lost the candidate.
Oh, and 20? Why not like 10?
Well, I'm just saying.
Because 10,
that's what I was hoping to find.
10's
The
already
actual
a
number.
lot.
That's how I was hoping to find the actual number, and I couldn't. All right. There's a mathematical equation that says based on so many interviews, you can interview 1,000 people for the same job, and you can find the exact candidate you wanted at 28.
Yeah, but yeah,
Up to 28.
6.
No, that's not what I'm talking about.
No, it's 6. It's saying every role should be filled with the first 6 people you find.
Within the first 6 people?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's a low number to me. I've seen it over 20.
Because I mean, you don't need 20 people for one job. If you can't find 20 people to do that one job, then something's wrong.
I agree.
If you do 10,
the number I had seen was
something's
higher.
wrong.
The number I had seen was higher. But if you say
do
6 to 10, okay,
it's 4 to 6.
Based on the application
Should be a
resume.
handful.
Okay,
that's it. If you can't find someone in the handful, then
okay,
you're
but
doing something wrong.
if you get 1,000 resumes, you have to read 1,000 resumes.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
You have to,
Mm-hmm.
because you don't know if that 1,000th resume is the best employee. Now, do you have to interview all 1,000? No, but do you have to read all 1,000? Yes. Okay, that's why you have these systems that read interview resumes. It avoids all that hassle, right? I've told you the job that I applied for Bliss, that the person said that my resume was very confusing. That's why I didn't get the interview. And I said, okay, if you could give me feedback, I would really appreciate it. And she's, yeah, like for example, here it says you teach introduction to psychology. What does that mean? Like, what are you, freaking stupid? I'm a college professor and teach the class introduction to psychology. She says, okay, I guess. And there's no one here that says you're certified in prevention of management and aggressive behavior. What is that? I said, I'm certified to prevent and manage aggressive behavior. Like, what the hell's wrong with you? I told her, I said, you know what? I am so glad I did not get hired, because if you're hiring people off your idiot ways of thinking, you're getting some really poor candidates at the job. And obviously, I'm never going to apply for that job again.
What job was it even for? I remember you told me a story about it. I forgot it.
It was a social worker working with family advocacy on Fort Bliss with kids who've been abused.
Wow.
I would have been perfect for the job. I even applied for the director of family services, of family protective services in El Paso, for adults and child protective services. Applied for the director position. I was just trying to be a worker at Fort Bliss.
Wow. And what happened with that?
With what?
Director?
I wasn't qualified for it. I mean, I'm not going to lie.
I don't know. I thought you would get an interview or
no,
something.
My point being is I felt I could have taken that job because I knew the system enough.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, there was other people that actually had worked in their program, so they were going to hire those before me. And they made a great hire, I'm not going to lie. But the point being is, this person looked at my resume and was confused, which it wasn't me, trust me. I'm a college professor and I teach psychology. Well, I mean,
are you sure she wasn't like trying to test you to make sure it's
no,
your resume?
I didn't get a job interview. I never even got called for an interview. And she told me, oh, I remember your resume. It was very confusing. Oh, really? Can you tell me what was confusing about it?
Okay.
And the fact that I'm a college professor teaching psychology was confusing to her.
That's how the brain works.
Or the fact that I don't know what this means. It's literally in the title. I prevent and manage aggressive behaviors.
I don't know, dude.
Forget all my other experience as a counselor, as an advocate, as a day treatment program supervisor. None of that was an issue. It was these weird, confusing things. She thought I wasn't a good candidate for the job, when it was actually her brain that was just stupid. And I hope she's listening to this, because if she is, you're stupid. You know.
And how long ago was this?
Oh, too long. Too long.
How long?
My first marriage, long. At least 25 years ago.
I was going to say 25, yeah. Oh. Yeesh, early 2000s. New decade, am I right?
Goddamn millennials. But anyway, so yeah, that's one of those things. But I'll tell you what, that's my story. But let's hear the story from the fire about Ben.
Ben 10.
Bend over.
Okay.
Raises are recognition, not rewards. In today's story from the fire, a new hire, Ben, frequently takes loud, personal calls at his desk and microwaves fish in the communal kitchen. His colleagues are annoyed, but say nothing, creating a tense environment. Ben remains oblivious until his manager has to have an awkward conversation with him about workplace awareness. He learned the hard way that professionalism is just respect in a work outfit. That was a story from the fire. Murphman, are you feeling the heat?
What did you say? What the hell? What are you referring to?
I was reading it and just thinking about someone microwaving fish. I hate tuna. I hate fish. I'm not a seafood guy. If someone cooks something in the microwave that smells, I'm not walking in there for the whole shift.
Okay.
I would sit somewhere else.
Is it fair to say that I can't fish work?
Yes. If it's interrupting everybody else, yes. It's a break room, not a kitchen where you cook whatever you want. Yes, I know it's food, but like you got to think about everybody else on how they feel. What if they don't eat fish?
When I found this story, right, and I'm like, I'm going to use it. I was like, so I can never eat fish at work.
Yeah.
That's too funny. That's the reason I like working from home. I can eat whatever I want.
Yeah, no, dude. Especially if it's like you have to punch in a code to get in the break room. So it's not like you could just open the door or whatever, you know?
No.
It's trapped in there. You know how many times I had to spray the break room because of how bad it smelled from the microwave? We had to get a new microwave, actually. I forgot. We got a brand new microwave because of like the smell. It was bad, dude. It was really terrible.
That's too funny. You had to get a new microwave.
Because like, that's all he ate. And he made like mixtures.
Okay.
I'm like, dude, come on.
Let me
Like, yes, I know, but I don't know. There's just some stuff where it's like you need to know what to bring to work, like to eat, and be considerate for all the other people that don't eat what you eat.
Well, let me tell you, last night.
That's why I get bagel bites out of all things to cook. Bagel bites. No smell, no nothing. Ooh, it's pizza. Yeah, yum. Not tuna or fish. God. I hate seafood with a passion.
Last night I was, folding my clothes and putting my clothes up hanging and after washing and whatnot, right? And I had tuna and I had a new tuna that I bought. It's not the best, but I mean, it's like already pre-flavored, pre-mixed. And I was eating it. And then after I was eating it, a little while later, I said, I want to get some celery and peanut butter, right? So I took it and I was waiting for you to come in and go, I smell a tuna and I smell peanut butter. I was like, oh yeah, dude, they're really good together. To see your reaction, but you didn't smell it. Thank God. Thank God, right?
Thank God. Oh my God.
But
I saw you brought it home. I was like, oh, hell no. I walked straight to my room, never came out because I knew you're going to cook some tuna.
Well, first of all, I don't cook it. It's all cold, but yeah.
Oh, but like you heat it up and all that. Like
I don't.
What?
I don't heat up tuna.
You don't heat up tuna?
No.
Yes, you do.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Tuna sandwiches are cold.
You've heated up tuna before. I swear.
No. I've had fish, shrimp. But I've never had. I don't do tuna.
Huh. I don't know what I'm thinking then.
You don't like tuna? Why am I going to cook it for us?
Cook it. I meant for you.
Well, yeah.
Like you heat it up for you.
Yeah, I just make it cold. It's a cold sandwich.
I don't know.
Mayo, lemon pepper, throw some lettuce in there, and I'm good. Anyway, neither here nor there. Going back to Ben, he gets on the phone and talks loudly at work. First off, shouldn't be using your personal phone at work. Can we agree?
Well, it depends where he's at. Oh, at his desk. Yeah, that's right.
At the desk I used to be at, I did my personal stuff. You're not supposed to use work stuff for personal stuff, and I get it. But I literally I had nothing to do. There was not, you know how they say you never want to tell a boss you have nothing to do.
Yeah.
Because
busy.
they'll give you work. There was nothing I could do. There was literally nothing. So it's just sitting there, like, I started doing some personal stuff, and the guy that I hate so much would come by and give me smack about it. One time I'm talking to a parent, and I was talking to her for maybe 25 minutes, and he texts me, I think the conversation is over now.
Dang.
And I'm like,
elementary school also.
Same guy. And I'm like,
Yeah, I know.
my daughter sits to parents. I'm messing with her, but
yeah, it's not gonna be all like talk.
Well, it should be. But if you have nothing going on,
maybe talk to someone. There's gonna be some BS no matter what. You gotta tell a story. You gotta tell experiences. So I mean, make it personal.
You remember the story about when I screwed up and all the parents left me? They didn't file a complaint.
Yeah,
that's why I was building those relationships. Anyway, I really hope everyone can get somebody soon. I want them to go to hell. But using your phone at work, like when I'm on the playground and I was supposed to be watching kids.
Yeah.
I sometimes I would text the other coaches, right, and say, hey, look at this kid over here, right? And then one time this guy comes over and goes, you're not supposed to be using your phone. And I said, I want you to read what I'm writing because this is work related. I'm texting the other person way over there to check on the kid that's next to him because I saw something happen. You want me to walk over there and wait for whatever's happening to finish before I get there? You want me to yell across the whole playground? Is that what you want me to do? Because I will. I was pissed, dude. God, he was just, I just get so triggered. Anyway, can you say that using your personal phone at work is not a good thing, especially if you're making personal phone calls?
Yeah.
Right.
Phone calls, yeah.
Okay.
If you're using it like it's not interrupting anyone, I would say it's fine. If you have no work to do, try to stay busy. But if there's nothing to do, then can't really help it.
If I'm working at Walmart,
there's gonna be something to do sometimes.
And I take a personal phone call, and I'm in the aisle hiding, taking a call, and the manager walks by me. He's gonna think I'm avoiding work. That's his perception.
Yeah.
Okay. Could it be that my kid's in the hospital? Right? Like, I work from home. When you were in the hospital, I worked one day from the hospital.
Oh, you did, yeah.
Okay. Because I took a couple of days off, but I was like, now I just wanted to be with you, and I texted my boss. I said, "Are you okay with me working from the hospital?" And she's like, "Yeah." She says, "If something happens, you need more time, just let me know." She's I love my boss. But was that a professional thing to do?
Well, I mean,
if I had a student come in and they're going to see this wall behind me,
they're going to be like, where you at?
Yeah, the hospital.
Yeah, just whatever.
Is that appropriate?
It's not appropriate, if that makes sense.
But it's not appropriate either.
But it's not inappropriate either.
Right.
So
yeah, it's a great line.
It's just a wall.
It's a great line.
No, it's a wall. You got a place for personal reasons, but yet you still make time for work. That's what I would say.
Again, I'm your dad. I think differently. Ergo, you think differently. I haven't been like that with you.
I mean, what would you do if you saw your teacher at the hospital, but yet still doing class? Go ahead, go have fun. We'll do class another day.
You call a cold blue on you, and they're coming and giving you CPR, and I'm like, okay, class, today we're gonna cover.
Well, then, yeah. Okay. If it's like for that, but if it's like your kid's doing better, and you go back to work.
Yeah, but in the nurses, they come by every 20, 30 minutes. If I'm in class, that's going to interrupt me. There's potential for problems. Can we agree on that one?
I mean, yeah, okay. But it's not a bad thing to do it, but wouldn't recommend it because you're going to get distracted. You're going to get upset, even though it was your choice to do class in the hospital.
Right. So, there's some things that you don't want to do. The reality of it is, do I expect you to not return text messages? No. Is there an excessive amount of text messages? Yes. But if once in a while you get on your phone and return, I don't care. Just do your job. That's life today. We have our phone with us. In the old days, we had to wait till we got home and checked our voicemails, and we'd have 15 voicemails of someone trying to reach us. There's an emergency because we didn't have a phone.
No.
There's another thing. I don't know if you know this or not. Have you ever heard of a party line?
No.
Back when people couldn't afford a whole phone line for themselves, they had a party line. So like 5 houses would ring, and you would pick up the phone. Oh, it's for the guy down the street.
So what would that do?
I never had one, so I don't know if they had a call back or what.
So I'm like, out of all the 5 houses, someone rings, and it's like, oh, and just hangs up, and everybody else is like,
SOL. Yeah, I don't know how that would work, but yeah. So, the old days we didn't have the phones like we do nowadays. We didn't have access to instant information.
Yeah.
The perfect example that I can think of is what happened with Charlie Kirk. Everyone knew about it because of social media, right? In the old days, we had to wait till we got home and watch the news at night. Or CNN started a 24-hour news station, so you could tune into CNN anytime and watch news anytime. Right?
Yeah.
All that was before we had a little computer on our phone. I'll tell you what. Let's go ahead and let's talk about those steps you can take so that you can but handle these situations in a more professional manner. All right, let's get to today's heat map.
Track your wins, not just time. The heat map will show you where to focus your efforts for the most impact. Be punctual. Being consistently on time shows deep respect for your colleagues' schedules and commitments. Observe dress codes. Observe the office dress code during your first month and err on the side of being slightly more professional. Respect shared spaces. Keep your personal workspace tidy and be hyper respectful of shared spaces by cleaning up immediately after yourself in the kitchen. Practice active listening. Silence your mobile devices and avoid checking notifications during meetings to give your full attention. The map is drawn. Back to Murphman for the next segment.
All right, so be punctual. Being consistently on time shows deep respect for your coworkers. Let's talk about that real quick. If I start work at 9 o'clock, what time am I punching in at?
9.
All right. And at 9 o'clock, what should I do? Go straight to work?
You should already be at work.
Or should I walk by the time clock, punch in, then go put all my stuff in my locker and everything, then change or whatever I need to do, and then go out to work?
No. First you go, get changed, do whatever, put everything away. Then you go clock in and start.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
You could try to get some extra sense if you wanted to before, but no, it's not worth clocking in, then going to break, to the break room to change and all that, and then going to work.
Right. Okay. There was one time I was late to work for whatever reason. I was probably about 15, 20 minutes late to work. And, I'm supposed to help monitor the playground, right? I was so late. I was rushing. I'm like, what can I say to be? I'm so sorry, but I was stuck in the bathroom with stomach issues. I go and I clock in, and the guy that I don't like stops me. Why are you late? And I'm sorry, I had some stomach issues. I just, try to get as fast as I could. I'm sorry, I'm late. My nurse hears that. She goes, then maybe you need to be at home and go see the doctor. And I said, you know what? You're right. I'm going to go see the doctor. Clocked out and left. Right?
How many minutes do you think?
No, I was probably about 20 minutes late or something. I
was
late.
I meant you clocked in.
Oh, no, the conversation I just had with you was how fast I clocked in and out.
Oh.
And I actually told him, I said, just don't clock me in. Call me in sick. So she could go delete it. So then I went to the doctor and I told him I've been having stomach issues, and they gave me some medications, and I went back and I gave him the note that I was at the doctor. She was like, well, the doctor says you can stay home for 2 or 3 days. So why are you here? And I'm like,
because I want to work.
Because I want to work. And they're like, well, if you're sick, we don't want you contagious. And she sent me home again. I was just like, I'm not sick. I was just late. So I ended up having to use 3 days of my vacation time, go to the doctor, fake everything, right?
Could have came up with a better reasoning, dude. Could have came with a better reasoning. Jesus.
Now, has there been times where I've been sick at work? Yes. Okay.
Wait, like contagious sick or just like I don't feel good?
Well, let me tell you. I love this nurse, by the way, okay? There was one time in December that I had a very bad respiratory disease. I was coughing up a storm.
I remember.
And this is before COVID, the December before COVID hit. It wasn't in the United States yet. Okay.
No.
What? No.
No, I'm like, I agree. I'm like, yeah, no,
okay.
It wasn't.
I had COVID. I can tell you right now, I had COVID. Okay. I know I had COVID.
How?
It wasn't diagnosed. The different strands that were in the air.
But
okay, I think I had got one of those strands before they got officially recognized in the United States.
But it was in China.
Yeah, but people were traveling, and that's how it's traveled, exposed to the whole world. But anyway, I was so sick, dude, that she tells me, you need to go to the doctor. She says, either you go to the doctor right now or we call an ambulance for you. And I'm like, okay. So I go to the doctor, and I had flu A and B. Very sick, contagious, and
Jesus.
I just had a cough, in my opinion. I wasn't like feeling sick or nothing. I just had a cough, but it was a really, really bad cough. And yeah, so anyway.
Yeesh.
Sometimes not going to work is the best professional thing you can do.
Yeah.
Because if you go, you get sick, you pass it on to everybody. And it turns out I did get a bunch of people. Where did I get it? I don't know.
Because they did catch page 0 and kept them there.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Okay. I don't want to get sidetracked.
Well, we don't have to. Anyways.
Can you come back to patient 0 after we're done with this?
We'll talk about it later.
All right.
We'll talk about it after the show.
In Christmas, when we got sick, do you remember?
This Christmas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it this Christmas? Yeah, it was. That was maybe when I was sick years ago. I think I was probably about 3 or 4 times as sick as I was this past Christmas.
What?
Yeah. That's how sick I was. So to give you an idea of how bad I was, and I was at work.
Jesus.
I shouldn't have gone
I didn't even
work.
think I felt that bad.
Okay.
I just had the regular cold. That was
no. This past Christmas, Connor, we were out for days.
I had the cold.
I don't want to give out personal information, but you were out really bad.
I was sleepy, yeah.
No, you were sick. Remember?
I was coughing. That was it. I wasn't like nauseous. I wasn't throwing up. I wasn't fainting.
You were 19 years old.
Yeah.
And you felt so sick you came lay down in bed with me. Like a little kid would have.
I had to throw in my stomach. Yeah. And my bed was hot. That's why.
No,
that's right. No. Yeah, because my bed was hot.
No, you had a fever.
I had a fever and my bed was hot. So I went to your room with the fever because your bed is cold. You don't have a soft comforter like I do.
Okay.
Or blanket.
My point being this, you were really sick.
I was just cold, dude. I'm just
I'm
trying to cool off, okay?
You were really sick.
And it was on New Year's, dude. New Year's Eve.
Yes, it was.
Jesus.
Anyway, yeah, it was horrible. But the point being is, I still was sicker before COVID.
Yeah.
Right?
I think I was more sick with COVID. Yeah.
If you're that sick, don't go to work. I know we don't want to use days, but
dude, your personal life matters more than your work.
Let me ask you a question. If I worked at a movie theater and I was sick like that, should I have gone to work?
No.
Because you
got popcorn, you got food.
A lot of other people would have gone sick. Not just my coworkers, but I mean, imagine
all the if you cough on the seats, people are gonna get sick. If you cough on the
just imagine
food.
how bad that could be. So working at Walmart, okay. Working from home, can I kind of work if I'm sick? Yes. All right, but yeah. All right, observe dress codes. Observe the office dress code during your first month and err on the side of being slightly more professional. Okay. No jeans. No tennis shoes.
Oh yeah,
wear shirts with collars, ties if you can. Not polo shirts, button-up shirt. You know, you got to dress a certain way until someone says something like,
"You can wear whatever."
You can wear whatever, you know,
or wear uniform or something. Yeah. I mean, the first day, I would say.
Respect those shared spaces. Keep your personal workspace tidy and hyper respectful of shared spaces, such as the communal kitchen, and keep everything clean.
Yeah.
Okay.
And not to bring fish.
And don't bring fish.
Yeah.
And last but not least is practice active listening. Silence your mobile devices and avoid checking notifications during meetings to give your full attention. Now, I will tell you, one of my things is I end up on the phone a lot during meetings and I'm playing games. And my boss didn't like it. And she called me out. And I said, I'm sorry. I said, if I sit here and I'm listening to you and doing nothing,
I'm not
listening.
But I'm doing something else, I'm listening.
Yeah.
Because you're actively using your brain.
And I said, do me a favor and ask me anything. And I'm not disrespectful. This is just a fact of life. I listen better.
Well,
yeah. And she then, you know, I was playing games or sounds and they bloop,
like a little like
you know,
Game Boy.
Yeah. Yeah, nothing like that, right? But yeah, so it's one of those things that you know, is the rudest thing is when you sit at the table when they're on the phone and you're not. Now, you and I do this a lot. We go out to eat and you'll be on your phone or I'm on my phone or we're both on the phone. And I've actually had people tell me, like,
what's going on here?
Why don't you guys are so disrespectful? Like,
we're like the quietest people in the restaurant because we're always on the phone. Either like someone's eating, I'm on the phone. Well, like I'm eating, you're on the phone.
Yeah,
we're both on the phone and eating, or on the phone.
People have seen that and said, why? Because like you guys don't talk to each other. I'm like, no, we actually talk to each other too much that we had nothing to say.
Yeah, we talk on the car right there.
Yeah, we're actually able to sit down and play our games now.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, this is the only time I could like play games and eat and like, you know, do my stuff.
Yeah. You know,
and then in the car, then I still play games, but I mean, I still listen and all that.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's take one quick break and then we'll come back and we'll talk about those places you can get burned in the pitfalls that you can have and where you can get burned. We'll be right back.
Sounds good. Everyone just play.
I'm trying.
There's a hotel window, many floors above. What's missing down there is love. Thinking through the smoke that fills my mind. Don't worry, it's not my first time. Adios, amigo. I'm so glad I seen you. Seeing you around. Adios, amigo. I've been looking for you since I stepped foot in this town. say it's all inside heaven and hell. What happened to that angel when he fell? Give it just one try. Tell me you don't like it. Be God for a moment, don't despise it. Adios amigo, I'm so glad I seen you. I won't be seeing you around. Adios amigo, I've been looking for you since I stepped foot in this town. Step outside and breathe. Play a little in the street. Hope it's not me they're sending. Move on from over there. Give the kids a little scare. Oh, these fences, they need mending. Adios amigo, I'm so glad I seen you. Seeing you around. Adios amigo, I've been looking for you since I stepped foot in this town. Adios amigo, I'm so glad I seen you. I won't be seeing you around. Adios amigo,
All right, welcome back. Let's jump into those pitfalls that we'll have in our segment called Where Are You Going to Get Burned?
Facts, not feelings. Let's talk about where you'll get burned. These are some common pitfalls. Being too casual too quickly. Observe the office culture before diving in. It is a professional environment, not a college dorm or home lounge. Ignoring social cues. Pay attention to body language, volume levels, and team tone to avoid interrupting deep work blocks. Oversharing personal details. Maintain professional boundaries. You can be friendly and warm without being overfamiliar. Danger zone identified. Back to Murphman for the warning.
All right, so being too casual too quickly. What did I tell you? Don't be yourself for the first couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Observe, mirror, watch, and then slowly let yourself out. Ignore social cues. Pay attention to body language and volume levels and team tone to avoid interrupting deep work blocks. Okay. You got to be aware of what people are doing. Are they socializing or are they working? Are they talking about something that you're interrupting that could wait? All right, you got to be really aware of all that stuff. And overshadowing personal details. Oversharing personal details. Maintain professional boundaries and careful what you share with people, because I will tell you, you can give up a lot of information too quickly before people know it. Like, for example, your very first Friday on the job, Who wants to go get drunk with me tonight? Yeah, you don't want to do that kind of stuff, right? Right. If you're asking people the first week of job, hey, so how can I get around doing this? And they'll be like, you got to do it. Doesn't mean that it can't be done. It's just they're not going to tell you, yeah, you're new, you can do whatever you want, right? So just be careful with all this stuff. Don't be yourself too much. Don't be sharing too much information. It's one of those things where just it varies, right?
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about ways we can prevent that in our segment called the heat shields.
The prep is the protection. Here are your heat shields. The situational mirror. Deploy this shield by intentionally mirroring the behavior, tone, and punctuality of the most respected person in the room. Corporate culture guides. Read essential workplace reading, like Unwritten Rules of the Workplace, to demystify complex corporate expectations. Digital tone checkers. Use communication tools like Grammarly's tone detector to audit internal emails and messages before pressing send. The shields are up. Murphman, what's next?
All right. So the situational mirror we've been talking about, watch and observe and follow. All right.
Yeah.
Corporate culture guides like the Unwritten Rules of the Workplace. You definitely want to read that because there are some things you have to think about, like having your ringtone silent, right? Having your computer screensaver be appropriate, and I don't mean like inappropriate, like nudity. I mean like have it pop up as Bud Light,
Yeah, or
something like, what I mean? It's not a big deal, but again, you don't know what the rules are at work and how they're going to treat you. So you want to be very careful how you present yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And the digital tone checkers. I've talked about this before. Writing an email, checking it with Grammarly, making sure it's more professional. Word has that option as well. I use Gemini, things of that nature, right?
Yeah.
Those heat shields are something that I'll look at that will help you avoid those pitfalls, okay? Because we're not perfect, and we're all going to have issues in a new job. I told you about that one job I had where the first day of work I had to miss it because I was I was subpoenaed to go to court.
Yeah.
And her response was, "Is this going to happen a lot?" And I just really said, I don't know. If I get subpoenaed, I get subpoenaed. How am I supposed to stop that? Right? She says, "But you're not working there anymore." And I said, "You're right. Someone else needs to handle the case. But I already had this court date scheduled before you offered me the job." And I tried to get out of it, but I couldn't. So they had to subpoena me and I had to go. So I don't think it's going to happen anymore, but I don't know. She didn't like it. I'm like,
well, too bad.
Well, yeah, but I understand that it looked bad, but it's not my fault, right?
Yeah, you couldn't control it.
Yeah.
I mean, you tried telling them.
Yeah.
But they were like, "No, we're gonna subpoena you. You're gonna have to come."
Right. And the reality of it was I needed to be there. And I asked to be subpoenaed. It was really funny when I got subpoenaed, they show up in my in-laws' house. That's where I lived. And she opens the door and it's a sheriff's deputy asking for me. And she says, "One moment." Close the door and she yells, "The police are here for you, Sean." And I said, "Okay." And I knew what it was, right?
Yeah.
And I said, "Here." I said, "Where do I sign?" And he goes, "Here." I said, "All right, thank you." And he goes, "You're not even going to ask me what?" I said, "No, I've been expecting this, so I know what's happening." And she said, "Oh, okay." Because the way she answered the door, I was like, "Oh, this is not going to go good." But yeah, I needed to be in court. And it was funny because in that court, the judge was asking me questions. I mean, the lawyer was asking me questions over and over, trying to get me to trip up my story. And the judge said, "He's already answered you. You already know where we are with this. Like, just drop it." In other words, saying like, I'm going to roll against you already, right? So I needed to be there to tell the judge the story. If I hadn't been there, it could have gone a different story. But the judge was like, yeah, he's totally whatever. But yeah, so workplace norms are one of those things that you really don't know what it is. You can research them, but you just got to observe your coworkers. That's the best thing you can do, right? Let's talk about those reflective questions, and let's reflect back on today's episode, Connor, in our segment called The Afterburn.
Reflect on your value. In today's Afterburn, here are some questions for you to reflect on. What are the primary unwritten rules and norms of my current workplace? How can I actively show more respect for my colleagues' time, focus, and shared space? What professional first impression am I making with my daily conduct and communication? Whose professional conduct in my organization is worth observing and mirroring?
All right. Situational mirror I've been talking about. I'm not going to go over that again. But the culprit... Thank you.
Welcome.
So what are those primary unwritten rules? We talked about that already. But how can you actively show more respect for your colleagues' time, focus, and shared space? Think about that real quick. Actively thinking, what can I do to help my team? What can I do right now to help my team? You may not know what your job is, but what can I do? Right?
Yeah.
Okay. What professional first impression am I making? Now, I'm going to ask you a question. When does that first impression start?
On your resume, I would say.
Wow, I like that answer. That's not what I was going to say, but I like that answer. I was going to say in the interview, but it starts in the lobby while waiting for your interview. But yeah, your resume says a lot about you, right?
Yeah, that's already in first impression.
I want to give you props on that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that is the first impression.
Yeah.
Someone reads your resume, and if it's all like on pink paper with flowers and roses, maybe not the most professional person, right?
Yeah.
If I'm a guy and it's a little too girly for me,
I was gonna say,
right?
A guy with flowers on his resume.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
This is his girlfriend showing him love.
Yeah,
good luck on your job, babe.
I can see, right? Resume is an issue, but with me, what I was gonna say was the interview starts. I mean, the first impression starts off during your waiting for that first interview.
When you go up to the employee and be like, "I'm here for the interview." Oh, okay, wait in the lobby or something. Yeah.
Where I used to work at this program with adults who had been diagnosed with mental retardation and autism. You have to be very understanding of them and everything. So when my boss would do, I laugh about it because they did it to me and it was funny what I did, but how they treat the clients that we have, the consumers, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's one big lobby. There's a new person in the room. They walk over and they're like, "Who are you? How can I help you? Are you going to work here? Oh, cool." Or they'll be like, whatever. And they sit down and have a conversation with you.
Yeah.
She'd be watching you through the blinds to see your reaction. And she'd make you wait for like 5 to 10 minutes. Damn. Just observing you the whole time, how you treated people. Again, we go back to character, how you were.
Yeah.
When I went in, I started having a conversation with the kid, right? Like, she actually told me, like, I let you go like another 15 minutes, like probably the longest I've ever, because I felt bad interrupting you. But when I went to go work at the runaway shelter, I went for my interview and I sat down and I'm sitting there and the secretary from you, right?
Yeah.
And I hear sound like the grunt. Like, what happened? She goes, "Oh, I'm having problems with this." I said, "Oh, what's happening?" And I said, "Let me help you." And she tells me, "I'm having trouble." I said, "Here's what you want to do: this. It fixed it." I said, "Cool." And I just sat back down.
Yeah.
And she was like, "I thank you for the help." I said, "You're welcome." I was not going to get into a conversation with her. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't want to work there. And I told you that, like, I got fired next door. It was just a basic interview. I didn't want to work there. I honestly didn't want to work there, so I didn't care about making.
What even was it for? Like,
it was
what
for
job?
the runaway shelter, the counseling position.
Oh,
the one I got and worked there for 16 years and loved. But the point being that I was fired from next door, and I just did the interview because why not? You have to have interview experience, but I really wasn't thinking I was going to work there or nothing.
Yeah.
And I go into the job interview, and my boss says, "So what makes you want to work here?" And I said, "I don't. I'm the guy that got fired next door." And there was a lot of genuineness in that, and joking.
Yeah.
So it set the tone for the meeting. And then she said, "So why did you come for the interview?" And my response was, and you're going to hate this, my cheese is moving.
Always your cheese is moving, huh? Always, no matter where we are.
Actually, that's the first time I read the story. Okay, that's the first time I read the story.
For a place you didn't even want to work at.
Right. I had heard it that weekend. I said, I have a job interview Monday working with kids, and it was the funniest thing. And she says, "Oh, you like Who Moved My Cheese?" And I said, "Yeah." And she said, what do you like about it? I started talking about it. The interview wasn't about my skills because she knew I had the skills. It was like, do I like this guy? Do I want to work with him? And then, like, after about 3 or 4 months, we were talking, how am I doing and everything. And she tells me, I really thought you wouldn't last this long. You were just like a temporary hire, hoping you would quit. And then I could hire someone that really had the experience working with kids. She says, but I think I made a good hire. I said, I think you did too.
Hey, you should have asked her how many people it took.
No, she'd do about 8 to 10 interviews. I learned that over the years. She always had 8 to 10 people she'd interview. There was one time she saw one resume. She's like, this is going to be the person I want to hire. And she still did 8 to 10 interviews. And I said, are you giving those other 7 to 10 people a fair shot? And she says, yeah, I am, Sean. I said, okay. That guy did not get hired.
Why?
Because he didn't interview well. Now, imagine if she would have only interviewed him.
Yeesh.
Right? Yeah. So you always want to do a few more interviews. All right. So I want to talk about this real quick, our digital inferno. So we're going to talk about technology.
Your Slack message is your reputation. Digital communication is the new shared office space. Communication channels. Never use personal abbreviations or excessive emojis in professional Slack or email channels. Tone detectors. Use AI tools like Grammarly's tone detector to check that your digital messages sound clear, professional, and respectful. Notification management. Utilize communication settings like turning off notifications during meetings to show respect for others' focus. Recipient verification. Always check the recipients of emails or chats before sending to avoid accidentally oversharing personal information with the wrong group. The Inferno is digital. Back to Murphman to talk about the segment.
All right. Everything we've been talking about. Use Grammarly, use Gemini, use professional writing software. Use those tone detectors. Make sure you're writing appropriateness. Notification management. Don't have your messages on loud. Have it on silent, right?
Or just mute them all.
Mute them all.
And then you'll see it when you go to break.
Right.
That's what I would do.
And request verification, recipient verification. You want to be aware of who you're sending stuff to because you want to make sure you get the right person, right?
Yes. Makes sense.
Right. So let's just get to today's final burn. All right.
All right.
Know your worth and show your work. Okay. What does that mean? Well, the final take is professionalism is just respect in the work outfit. Be mindful, be present, and don't be the reason someone needs noise canceling headphones.
True.
You like that?
I like that.
You don't want them to drown you out. There's one of my coworkers I didn't like, and I mean I liked him, but he was annoying, and he had tics, and he'd make noises, and it was really weird. And I put that all aside because I knew it wasn't him doing it.
Yeah.
Right. It didn't get annoying. Like I hated that. I was just like, I hope this guy can get some help. So it was funny because after he left the job, we were talking about him, and I said, I'm so glad he's no longer making those noises. And everyone's like, God, that's rude. I'm like, it was annoying.
A little bit.
It was annoying. I said, he had tics, so I didn't like say anything.
But he can't control it.
Well,
Can't
that's my
really
point.
hate on him for it.
And that's my point. You can control it. So I told him, go get some help, get some medication for your Tourette's.
You don't just get medication.
Yeah,
for
you
it.
can.
Not if it's like severe.
But you can get medication. Anyway.
It still wouldn't help.
Anyway. I didn't hold it against him. I never say anything to him, but inside I was just like, yeah. All right. So that's it for today, Connor. What do you think?
I think so too. Today was a great episode.
I think it was. I hope people enjoyed it, liked our stories and all our sidetracks. But that's it for today. Catch you next week. Hopefully we'll have this Chinaman on. Mark Britton, the voices of Dragon Ball Z.
Hopefully.
Stay tuned for next week. We'll see you then.
All right.
Thank you for watching today's episode. Check us out on all social medias at Pure Hot Takes or go to purehottakes.com for more information.
That's a wrap on this episode. If you're looking for more, you can find all the best clips from the show on our social media pages. For all the links and more information about what we talked about today, visit purehottakes.com. And if you want to watch the full replay or get access to our premium content, subscribe now at stream915.com. We appreciate you tuning in.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.